Good evening. Good evening, and welcome to 305 Radio. This is George, 305 Magazine, and I'm here with Drea.
Hi, everybody. This is Drea Mom.
And today we have special guest, artist, film director. He's done it all, Mr. Michael Garcia. Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How y'all doing?
Salutations.
You like how I put my R&B voice on for the radio?
Radio voice?
Yeah, my radio. Hey.
Well, hold on. Are you still rapping and making music, or
I don't really.
things are over?
Listen, I'm not doing it.
Hey, listen, hold on.
Nah.
All right, so look, first thing he said when he got out, he's like, yo, it's not happening today.
Yeah.
No, today it's not happening, but then you owe me 16.
I'll owe you 16 another day. How's that?
All right.
I'll come back, I promise. I'm fried today. Yeah, I mean, I think being I grew up just a student of hip-hop and a fan of the culture. You know, I tell people all the time that I'm more hip-hop than I am Cuban, which is pretty true, you know, for the most part. And I probably will always rap till the day I die, but as far as pursuing it as a career, not really, not anymore.
No.
Nah, I mean, like, I love hip-hop, but I also recognize it's a young man's sport. And, you know, what am I going to do? Talk about being, like, on a corner selling drugs or, you know, doing some gangster shit when I'm, like, you know, the most gangster hip-hop dance dad of all time. Like, you know, kicking it, like, you know, at the ballet classes waiting for my daughter to get out, which I'm super proud of. You know, I just enjoy life. I'm happy to be here. There's been a lot of different situations that I couldn't have been here anymore. So the fact that I'm here, I'm alive, and I still have a career with music and in the music business is a blessing to me, and I'm happy that I can grow old gracefully with the culture.
Well, we're happy to have you here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
How long were you rapping?
I started rapping in 1994, and my last album was dropped 2000 and I want to say 12.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a long career.
Very long.
Yeah.
So after you know, doing music for so long, what got you into actually doing videos, and then you've done a few short films? So what started that inspiration? What got the ball rolling?
So a lot of people don't know, when I started doing music when I was in high school, I had this weird thing of being super professional in business at the same time as being hip-hop. Like, everybody in the 90s was putting out mixtapes back when it was really on cassette. You know, you actually had to, like, have a cassette.
Mixtape.
Yeah, mixtape. And I noticed everybody was doing it with, like, a marker and shit, and they would just, like, write on the cassette and, you know, dub over some other guy's tape or whatever. And I didn't want to do it that way, so I put out my first single. This brings me to the film, by the way, your film question, but I put out my first single by saving the $3 a day I had for lunch money every day for a year.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and I shit you not, I saved up all my money, I booked a real studio, and then I figured out how to, like, actually manufacture cassettes and press them and shrink wrap them, and I just didn't eat for a year, and that's how I did it. You know, I didn't eat lunch for years. Not like I didn't eat, but
yeah, you saved your money for a year.
Yeah, I didn't eat lunch at school.
Before that, because I know everything started way before those mixtapes, before any of that. Like, what really inspired you to even get into this industry to begin with?
It was all I knew and all I loved, you know. So as I was doing that, back then hip-hop, so this is how I get into film, right? So back then, hip-hop in Miami wasn't on the radio. At least the hip-hop I liked wasn't on the radio. You weren't getting Tribe Called Quest on Power 96. That just wasn't happening. Or Wu-Tang. And, you know, a couple underground radio stations like the Rhythm Rocker and WDNA and, you know, Darnella 90.5. That went to DJ Swing, Jesse Swinger, that ran UM as well.
Okay.
You know, that's how I consumed my hip-hop. But the way I got to know who the artists were and how they looked was by watching UM TV raps.
Yeah.
And watching their music videos. And that's how I got into culture and fashion, and just because a lot of people underestimate the fashion side of hip-hop and, like, what it is to be hip-hop. You know, the sixth element of hip-hop I always say is fashion. And if you don't believe me, you could ask, like, Thurston Howell III or Slick Rick even. Like, these guys were built off fashion, you know. But I started learning about directors. And the second I pressed that cassette, first thing I did was, I want a video. I can't afford a video. I just spent all my money in this fucking cassette.
It took you a year just to finish eating.
Yeah, I can't do this again, so what do I do? So they had a television broadcasting class in my high school.
What high school?
Braddock. I went to G. Holmes Braddock, yeah. I was on 154th. 154, that's where I was living, you know? And, you know, there was a huge, and it was actually a blessing, hip-hop and film. I took those TV classes because they didn't have a film class, but my teacher, Ms. Herzog, who I still actually stay in contact with to this day, she was a frustrated screenwriter. So one of our classes every week was always film history.
Okay.
So we have to watch, like, one day a week we watch, like, The Godfather or The Graduate, or...
You had to watch The Godfather?
Yeah, tough class, right? Or, like, Mean Streets, you know. In 1996, she showed us Kids, because Kids... Yeah, no, she was dope. She was super dope as hell. And then she had this plan of, like, getting these the little TV cameras, and we started making little short films in high school, and we won the contest. So we won a statewide contest, and it allowed us to go to Universal Studios Orlando and use their backlots for a movie at, like, 16.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and then I started learning how to, like, edit on VHS, so it was like tape to tape.
Wow.
And I was like learning how to edit, and then from there, real edit, real talk.
Editing VHS.
So I really learned how to do film. Was the aspiration of just making my own music videos, and then fast forward, I meet E and joined Crazyhood Productions, and that was one of the talents I was able to offer to the table. Was like, I could start doing videos for us, and I went to film school, and I learned how to edit, direct, and write, and then I dropped out of college. And I told I'm not advising you. I didn't advise. Well, I mean, dude, like the mountain, just jump. Let me tell you right now, like, ain't nobody asking me for a degree when I step on set. Nobody's asking me for a degree. I can tell you that right now. But that's not to advise any kids to drop out of college. Discredit college. But I'm just saying I dropped out of college, partly because. Partly it was two-sided, right? It was like one of it was. I knew what I wanted to do my whole life. I knew I wanted to be in the entertainment business, and there was nothing anybody was going to tell me different. I was not a suit and tie guy, not knocking suit and tie guys, or like I'm not a cubicle dude, and I'm not going to be like a manager or anything like that. Like, and that's cool for people to do that. Like, I'm not discrediting that whatsoever, but I just knew what I wanted to do. Yeah. And I knew that spending all this money on a degree, I found out real fast that this is a relationship-based industry. Yeah. So I had to go make relationships, and the other half of that was I was fucking partying. So like shit, I had a hangover, so I wasn't making it to class. So, gotcha. Yeah, but I mean,
save yourself the trouble.
In Miami-Dade, I learned how to edit on film. So we shot a short film. And that's actually where I met Jokes, believe it or not. But we shot we had a film class together.
Shout out to Jokes.
Yeah,
coming
and
next week.
He's coming next week.
He's coming next week.
Oh, dope. So we met in film class, and I learned how to edit and cut like 16mm film, and I started like shooting little music videos for everybody. For Mayday, I shot Recognize His first video.
Dope.
And
Mayday.
Yeah, then I shot it for the All and everybody in Crazyhood, and then shooting for myself, and and basically what I would do it for myself was I would give you a camera and be like, just face it here. And I'll figure it out. And I would just like perform. And, watching so many music videos growing up, you kind of figure out how to play with the camera, how to interact with it. And then fast forward 2012, I had just had my kid. Okay. And I didn't really have the vibe of doing music like that anymore. Like, it was just, I didn't have the aspiration of, and it wasn't that I was getting old, it was just like, you're constantly just chasing this thing. And whatever that thing is, it can get very fake very quickly. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't really liking the direction the music industry was going musically for hip-hop at the time. Okay. I didn't see where I fit in. The Southern rap had gotten really different. The underground hip-hop scene in Miami that I did a lot for, I didn't really feel the appreciation for it anymore. Not that I needed, like, props or credit, but, like, it was all like everybody wants a favor, everybody wants a handout, and then the second the music wasn't popping, or I wasn't on Power 96 anymore, I wasn't on 99 Jams anymore, any of that crap, all these friends I had just kind of just went away. Wow. They just all kind of like disappeared. I was like, that's cool. All right, dope. So I felt like I needed a career change, and E actually told me, you should just like go start being a production assistant, and like, because 2012 versus 2002, that 10 years, film went from film to digital. Like in a heartbeat. Yeah, like there was, I didn't know how to edit digital. I didn't know how to do anything digital. So I said, okay, cool. I'm not going to grab a 5D and just call myself a director, though. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to respect the game a little bit and like learn. Mm-hmm. And I started becoming a production assistant. And I had a friend named Mannix who got me in to the game. He was a PA. He had a call out sick one day, and he replaced himself with me, and I started picking up trash. Like, I went from like being on every magazine, every TV station, every radio station to picking up garbage for directors.
So that's the thing. Just for those that don't know, when you're a PA, you're a production assistant. It's not a glorious position.
Hell no.
Tell me about it.
I mean, like this. Just real quick, just give us a quick rundown of what a production assistant from having like
anything and everything.
The shit under the stick to like the highlight of it.
Shit, let me see.
I'm gonna ask you this in very position because I know you've gone through every position in a production
Yeah,
team.
pretty much. So my first job as a PA, I'll never forget. They have these things called lockups. Lockups suck. So basically, what you're doing is if you're shooting in public or filming in public, you have to make sure that no pedestrian crosses into the film set.
Yeah.
So my first lockup was 4 a.m. on Ocean Drive on the corner of 5th Street.
Wow.
You try stopping that kind of traffic.
Anybody, right?
Yeah, like everybody's but nobody got through. I made sure, like I was ready to fist fight somebody because I wanted to really impress my boss, who was the assistant director at the time. And that's who your boss is when you're a PA, is the assistant director.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to assist him, and I just did my best, and I went for it, and I hustled, and, you know, when they would call for something, I would run and go get it, and the other PAs would laugh at me. Some of them would be like, God, whatever, look at this stupid ass, like working so hard, but it got me noticed. And I started really working hard, and then I started moving into the office, and I started working with her. Can I have one of those gums? Do you have gums?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long hour, but I got dry mouth. But yeah, I started working in the office for real.
Yo, I mean, like,
Yeah, sorry.
I just keep thinking about when you just got in here. That shit was mad funny.
Yeah, I need like something.
I so regret not filming this from
I mean,
the beginning.
damn, yo.
The very beginning.
So yeah, I got to the production office, and I started like kind of like learning the game from the business side. So I was learning how to properly budget a production, and properly put it together legally with insurance and permits. Because I would just offer to do these producers who are, you know, sometimes too busy or maybe they just didn't want to deal with it. I was like, yo, let me do your paperwork. So for me, I was getting paid to go to film school. That's how I viewed it. I'm gonna get paid to go back to film school.
So what's happening? You went from production assistant, you get to the office, you're part of the team, but you're dealing with the paperwork. You said, hey, let me go ahead and handle this.
Yeah, I'll go handle that.
Once you learned it.
Yeah, once I learned it, from there, I learned how to properly schedule a production. And then my boy Young, who's a really great AD and director in Miami, he couldn't AD for Mike Ho, who's a famous music video director. And no, it was a Spanish video. He didn't know Spanish, so he was like, yo, do you want to AD this? I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I was like, yeah, sure. So I just jumped in and I faked it. You know, I acted like I knew what I was doing.
Fake it till you make it?
Well, I think is it more fake it till you make it, or is it more you just went off the things you knew you already?
Yeah, I just once you do PAing for like 5 years, if you really pay attention, there's two kinds of PAs, right? The dudes that want it and they pay attention, and the other dudes who are just like, you know, screwing off, smoking weed in the van or something. You know, I was the other side. I really wanted it. This had to work. There was no question. This had to work for me, and my back was against the wall, financially, spiritually, emotionally. Like I didn't have a plan B. There was nothing else I knew how to do. So I told Young I would do it. Cool. On that set, showed up was Jesse Torero. Gil Green showed up, and I had known Gil from the music. So me and Gil got to talking and chopping it up, and around that same time, me and E had started the Coming Home documentary series. And
Which is so dope, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Coming Home, definitely got to check it out.
So that was really E's brainchild. Of the way that started was E was like, yo, let's go to Cuba and let's film it. I'm over here dying of thirst. She's like,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
wow, just guzzling water.
We can get that kid to go get some water.
So, anyway, so E was like, yo, let's go to Cuba. Cool, bring your camera and let's film it. I was like, all right, cool. I had no idea what the hell we were doing. I was like, cool. So I just filmed everything. And E was like, oh, we'll make a little dope documentary and share with our friends. I should have known E. E doesn't do anything small. You know, I've only known this man 25 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should have known there's no way this is going to end up like in our living rooms. So he comes back and he's like, yo, how fast can you have this edited? I'm like, fuck, this is an hour-long documentary. Plus, I'm working 16 hours a day, every day as a PA, you know, for different companies, because at that point I was really in demand as a PA. I was like, all right, fuck. So I was like breaking night and trying to get it done. And we got it done, and then he locked the deal with Revolt Television, and the series was created. You know, and then from there we went to Peru, we went to Haiti, and at the same time, at that point, Mayday was doing the Believers album.
Okay.
So Mayday started coming to me for videos, and we did 6 videos in like 5 days or 7 days or some shit like that.
That's dope.
Yeah, and we ran through it. Me, Bernie, Drea, Rec, and E all just put our heads together and said, screw it, we're just going to go in. And we just did a bunch of videos together.
They were really creative videos. They were out of hand.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I try to come out the box. So, look, like, a tip to young directors coming up, right? 2 tips. One is, if you don't have the name, the only way you're going to win is the creativity. So, like, that's how I got tunnel vision. You know, like
Really?
Yeah. I mean, have you seen that video?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but hold on. If you don't know, Michael Garcia directed the Tunnel Vision Kodak Black video.
Yeah.
So, real quick, how'd that work out?
Okay, so the other point is never let a bad song stop you from making a good video, ever.
That's great advice.
Ever. And I say that because Gil told me that, and Nick Questa told Gil that. So whoever's listening, if I could share that advice with you, I've countless times heard video directors go, I don't like the song, I'm not doing this video. My dude, you do not know what song is going to hit number 1 on the charts and make your career.
You're right.
You really don't. And if the music stops you from being a filmmaker, you're just not built for this game because you're not going to like every record.
Everything you do, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, the way television came about was Gil called me. He was taking notice of all the work I was doing with Mayday, and he called me. He was like, "Yo, do you want to do this video Tunnel Vision for Kodak Black?" And I was like, I guess. Like I knew of Kodak Black, but I wasn't really into like the trap world like that yet. And like now, like I'm fully immersed in it because I have to be.
Yeah.
But I just knew that he had a huge following. I knew it made sense. I knew there was a lot of exposure for me. I was like, sure, send me the record. You're the first people that I'll ever tell this to publicly, so here you go. Okay?
There you go.
This is exclusive. The video came about by accident. So I was writing against a bunch of people, like a lot of people. And I started just, if you're going to do music videos and you're not familiar with the artist, the first thing I would do is watch all their prior videos. Because one, you don't want to do something they just did, and B, you kind of want to see what they're about. So I went to Kodak Black's YouTube page, and I was like, man, 50 million hits, 40 million hits. Oh, my God, this guy's got a huge following. Like, he's really popping. Cool. Then I started getting into Kodak Black. I'm out here singing No Flockin'. I'm singing No Flockin'. He was a great dude. I started singing No Flockin' and, French Montana. I'm like, oh, they don't like me because my jaw keep locking, I'm like, all right, that's dope. Like, I'm trying not to curse. Whatever. I fuck with Kodak, So it's like, it's cool. So I hear the record. I'm like, yo, you know what I don't want to do? I don't want to show him smoking weed, in a donk. In the projects, like, whatever.
The typical.
Because the thing is, because Kodak represents to me the frustrated young black man from South Florida with no outlet and nowhere to go. So he represented that to me, and I've known a lot of Kodak Blacks throughout my life. So I was like, this dude is actually, if you break him down, he's actually saying something. Now, Tunnel Vision came to me, I had no idea what he was saying. Because he was running.
What?
I understood the tunnel vision part. I understood the tunnel vision part, but I messed up one of the lyrics because sometimes they'll send you a lyric sheet, but they didn't send me a lyric sheet for this. So he has a line. Yeah. No, I mean I love tunnel vision. That sounds dope. But he had a line where he said, "I told you N-words, I was gonna be the fucking N-word." Right? Like, I told you people, I told you brothers I was going to be that brother. Like, lack of a better term. I misunderstood it. I thought he said, I told you N-words, I wasn't going to be your N-word. Oh. I literally thought
Huge mistake, right?
But it's like the happiest accident that ever happened. So I was like, oh, this sounds about racism. Real talk, perfect. Real talk, great, got it. And they want to see me locked up in prison. I got to keep a tunnel vision. Those were the only 2 lines I understood. So I was just rhythmically going off the record. So I was like, yo, I'm going to make this. And Donald Trump had just gotten elected. So I had a little bit to do with timing. I said, I'm going to do this around a white man and a black man who don't understand each other, fighting each other off pure ignorance for each other's culture. Like the Make America Hate hat again came about because there's a hat that the white guy's wearing that says Make America Hate Again. The only reason it says that is because Make America Great Again was trademarked. So legally I wasn't allowed to use that.
Oh, wow.
So, but I said, if you really think about it, when I see that hat, I automatically hate the person wearing it without even knowing him.
Yeah.
So, and he automatically hates me because I don't side with him. So this whole country is just filled with hate. So that's why I chose to make the hat say that instead of scrapping it. I still have that hat. Kodak signed it for me. And then, and then when they start fighting each other, and the black man wraps up the white guy in the American flag, a lot of people don't realize that the American flag, the whole video, has been hung upside down. The reason I hung the flag upside down is because when a soldier's in distress, the American flag gets hung upside down.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's symbolic because I looked at the country as it was in a state of distress at the time because everybody was freaking out over Donald Trump.
Damn.
And then the black man strangling him and the American flag represented how black people have been basically kind of strangled out their whole life due to the American corporate system. So, boom, he was doing it back to him, like reversing it. And then this little white girl just comes out and says, stop, because, that's all they're doing is seeing all this stuff on TV, and we're raising our children this way, not even thinking about it.
I just want to say 2 lines, and he got all of this.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is 2 lines.
Yeah, we'll talk. So, anyway, I turned in the treatment. You got to write a video treatment before you can get the job. And usually it takes about 2.5 weeks for an approval. I shoot it over to Gil. Gil goes, holy shit, this is crazy. You want to do this for Kodak Black? And I'm like, yeah. You've also been a car smoking weed, I don't want to do it. And he was like, all right, I'm going to turn it in. In 48 hours, like Atlantic Records was like hitting me like, yo, are you available Friday? We got to shoot Friday, which is crazy because, it was nuts, right? Shout out to Marsha St. Hubert, vice president of Atlantic Records, marketing for Atlantic Records. She flew down for it. My man Fat Boy flew in. Everybody was just like, it was just bonkers. We did the video Friday. We had the cut 5 days later. And then another crazy story is, so Kodak shows up. He was super on time, which is very rare for a rapper. But I told him 5 o'clock. He was there at 4:50. Gets out the car, shook my hand. He was very articulate, real cool dude. South Florida guy. Like, it was dope. But he gets in front of the Burning Crosses. He starts dancing. And I'm like, yo, there's like a Ku Klux Klan member hanging from a burning cross in this video. Do you know what you're doing? He was like, I'm swagging, dog. Straight up, I was his dancer. And I was like, all right, dope, cool, we're just going to rock with it. And in my head, I'm thinking I'm just going to cut this part of the video when he's dancing. And I think Jokes did the initial edit. So Jokes did the initial cut. And as he was doing it, he called me and said, yo, you got to keep the dancing. I'm like, why? And Atlantic hadn't even seen the footage yet. I'm like, why? He said, man, these little kids just heard it, and they ran over here asking if Kodak did the tunnel vision dance in the video. I was like, oh, shit, keep it. So, cool. We get it done, we color it, it comes out.
The television?
It did 3,
That's what it's called, the television dance?
I guess, yeah. It did 3.5 million views in 24 hours. Yeah, and next thing you know, like, Billboard is, like, emailing me, and Uprocks emailed me, and, everybody was emailing me for an interview, and everyone wanted to know what it meant, and people just couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit.
Blew up, man, that's great.
Yeah, boom, overnight. And at that point, it was like, boom. I had Trina, I did Trina K. Michelle after that. I did Fetty Wap, and it just went and just because that one video can take you. It's like one song could just go boom, boom, and now you're in the game. Now you're in the room. Now it's how you play it.
Come a long way from those oxygen.
I'm saying, man.
Well, the thing is also is like, the thing is, it's like. You get like in this business, and by the way, shout out to Atlantic Records because they turned into my best client. Like, real talk. And I'm not showing favoritism to anybody, but I have done so many videos with Atlantic Records at this point. My man Joseph Boyd, my homegirl Manuel, they constantly keep me writing on work. And I have 3 basic principles when I work: is be a man of your word. If that's what's on the paper, that's what they're getting. Don't come in over budget. So, like, in other words, if I tell you it's going to cost $25,000, $30,000, or $100,000, I'm not going to come back at the end of the video and be like, oh, I need $120. I'm not going to do that. And if I tell you I'm going to have the first cut for you in 6 days, you'll probably have it in 5.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you're saying that because we get so many people with so much talent, but they always kind of throw away that work ethic and that professionalism because they think that talent is going to take them all the way. And you're proof that, it's not just talent. Like, you definitely have to keep that ethic together.
Well, look, I'm 30 years old, right? I did tunnel vision when I was 38, or 39. There is thousands of directors out there, 15 years younger than me, easy, if not more, that would have killed to have that song.
Yeah.
That song went to number 8. I have a double platinum plaque.
Yeah?
Yeah, on the way to me right now for that record.
That is dope.
But they would have killed for that song. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, like, they would have killed to do that video.
If it's true, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna. No, it's cool. I'm not gonna shit on that opportunity. And knowing, I treated it like a rapper. So I was like, yo, everything I learned in hip hop, my grind In hip hop, I was like going to do the same thing in videos. The only difference is I can have white hair doing this. I can get old doing this. And no one's going to question me because I'm behind the camera. Do I know what I know now then? No. I learned everything along the way just like I've always done. Every video, any mistake I made, I learned from it. You know, I connected with my homegirl Sherry Fowler, who is my producer, my homeboy Bruno, who I've known for 20 years, and we just kind of formulated this plan of like, yo, we're just going to do everything we could do at the best of our abilities, no matter what. We're not going to care about the money. I'm not trying to get rich right now. E always implemented into me consistency, just let the name keep popping. And that's what I did. I just started knocking out I don't care what the hell the song was. I didn't care what the budget was. I was just going to come in and knock that shit down. And I was just going to come so left field with every video that I could possibly make. Cool. I'm gonna go as left field as I can do it. Oh, I can't afford it? Cool. Why not? All right, fine. How much does that cost? I'm going to scrap my rate. Go ahead, go for it. Buy it. You know, so like if I wanted, say I was making $5,000 on a video, but a techno crane is $2,000, cool, I'm making $3,000 today because I can't afford it because I want that techno crane.
You need that.
Yeah, I need the crane. And the reason why is because the other thing I do is, I probably shouldn't give all the sauce out, but the other thing I do is like...
It's giving the class.
No. The other thing I do is like if you give me 15 grand, my objective is to make your video look like you spent 30.
Of course.
You know, because how am I going to go getting $50,000 videos, and how do I make the jump to $100,000? Because the first question they ask you is, have you ever done a video for $100,000? And if I have nothing that looks like that, I can't say yes.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta poker face this shit. You know, so in alcohol, I've gotten into situations freaked out, scared, my G. Like I don't know how, and I love that feeling though. Like if
Can you give us a scenario?
You know what the hard. Here's a day that I knew. I remember me and Sherry, we were walking down the streets of New York, and it's so funny, but
it's like a movie starting right there. We were walking down the street of New York.
Yeah. We were walking down the streets of New York City. We were up there shooting Dylan Francis featuring Archangel, reggaeton star, and King Contra Mega. I looked at her and I said, yo, she was about to go, you remember a year ago? And I said, because all I've always fantasized was about making this grimy hip-hop video in New York. I've always wanted to do it just once before New York got fully regentrified. Like, I wanted the project buildings. I wanted everything. You know, I wanted the whole shit. I wanted to do 99 Problems.
Jesus.
And I had pitched it 1,000 times to rappers. And you know who bought it? Dylan Francis, fucking EDM DJ.
Wow.
He was like, this is fucking genius. I was super friends. Yeah.
You were like, what?
Yeah, but he's so cool. Like, Dylan's so dope. And I love Bruck. I love music. People look at me and say, oh, you're just like a hip-hop spit guy. Nah, dude. Like, I love...
Kinds of music?
What's my favorite group?
Rage.
And Guns N' Roses.
Really?
And Portishead. And Public
Yo,
Enemy.
hold up. Listen, just to keep, look, not for nothing, but this is something they don't understand about Garcia's a different kind of artist. Let me just tell you why. As an artist, and I've covered a lot of artists. No one in Miami has done this. Push themselves as a hip hop artist, and then out of nowhere, left field drops a rock album.
Yeah, I did a Rage Against the Machine cover album. And just covered all the Rage
cover album of Rage Against. Yo, it was dope, and I liked it. People were like, "Yo, for real?" I was like, "Yo, I love." Yeah, you can find it online. It's actually called Rage Against the Scene. Yeah. Yeah, it was dope as fuck. Why? Yeah. Because you did it justice.
Yeah.
You got loose. It was dope. But who does that? At the end of the day, I showed it to people. I was like, "Yo," and they were like, "So what are you telling me?" I was like, "I'm telling you, who does that? Yeah. Like seriously, who does that? Who does that?" So yeah, so Rock, let's do this.
So we go to New York. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, look at my cinematographer today. It's Paris Stewart. Paris Stewart did Common Blue Sky, which is one of my favorite videos. He directed that. Like he's working for me. He's my cinematographer. We became friends.
Wow.
Boom. I'm like, we're in Washington Heights. We just locked down the projects. Like literally, we just shut down the projects in Washington Heights. Like in the middle of a dope hole, like people were selling crack a block away. Like 50 people. They were like doing crack transactions. We had to get permission from the dude who ran the building to even let us in the property.
Damn.
And he was like, yo, you pull your trucks up, you get your lights out, and then you get the trucks out of here because no one can see you here. We don't want no heat on this block. We want no smoke. We're like, all right, cool, no doubt. No, cool. You want to eat? Sure. Yeah, I mean, eating. Like, it was just crazy. And I looked at shit. I'm like, yo, just embrace this moment for a second. You know, like, I look at it like, I'm blessed. Like, for real. I may not have all the money in the world, but I wake up and I do what I want to do. And doing these music videos, for me, I love music so much. Like, for real, love music. And I get to devise these personal concerts for myself all the time and just shoot them and shit. You know what I'm saying? We're like the best artists in the world, no matter what the genre. It's just kind of what it is, right? So like, it's fucking awesome. You know?
Your own concert going.
Yeah, man. Like, I remember, like, Triple X just passed. And I met Triple X when I was doing P&B Rock Misunderstood. I was doing that video. And Triple X passed by, and I met him. Man, what a cool kid, dude. And I was like, fuck. I mean, I know he had his troubled past, but he was a cool kid. And he was super smart, super articulate. And the dude could rap his ass off. So... I had talked to Sheer. I had like 3 treatments for that guy because I knew he was going to come across my desk. Like, I knew it. And we call it coming across your desk. Like, the artist now here is going to figure it out. And then he passed. The craziest video I ever done, if you want the craziest story, the hardest thing I ever had to do. And you're talking about a guy who has shut down city streets now. I have burnt crosses. I've set things on fire. The hardest thing I ever had to do was put a camera on a tripod. And that happened 6 months ago. You know what it was for?
For what?
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas after the school shooting.
Oh, wow.
That's when I knew that I was like, whoa. Like my name. So basically, I got a call from a woman that was looking to connect people to do a little music video that was like super cheap for free for the kids that they had written a song about the shooting. This was like 3 weeks after the shooting, dude.
Damn.
So I was like, yeah. So I called Bruno, and Bruno was like, yeah, let's just do this shit. And me and Bruno got them like a $50,000 music video on the house. Like, we had every rental house donating lights, gear, cameras. It didn't matter. We had crew members. They had like a 25-person crew. And they had another director who was alumni that was going to direct the whole thing. I was like, all right, cool. But they're like, we need a B unit, so can you just come in? And B unit's like a secondary unit that's shooting things that they're not going to film. I don't want to say the word shooting, that's it, but film things that the director can't get to that day. Would you do that? I was like, absolutely. I wasn't in it for the ego, And I get to the school, and they start giving us this speech. And you don't really, understand the gravity of a situation like that. The news doesn't even play it right. They're like, yo, you can't slam your cases on the floor because the bangs will freak the kids out. You can't talk on the walkie-talkie because they think cops are running down the street. You can't use the word shoot, like when you're shooting something. You can't. Yeah, it's crazy, right? I was like, all right, cool, no problem, got it. So what am I filming? Well, we have to film this stuff around the school, so we would like you, I'm getting teary out there, would you film the parents of all the victims?
What?
Yeah. So, 17 parents. The hardest one was a little girl, the coach that died. So basically, then here's what they don't tell me. It's like, we want them basically filming. We need you to hand them this photo. It's their yearbook photo. They hadn't seen it.
Wow.
And I have to hand them this 8.5 by 11 yearbook photo for them to hold up. The song is called Shine. If you want to just put Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Shine. The video's amazing. And you'll see all the parents holding it up, and I just had to do that all day and just shoot. But I'm handing these parents this picture, and they wanted them all stoic. I'll never forget. I talked to the father of one of the girls that died, and I said, "Hey, sir, we don't need you to have any emotion. Just stand there and stoically. You try to separate yourself from the situation." And the father looked at him and he goes, "Yeah, you try not to have any emotion, you fucking asshole." Exactly what he told me. What am I gonna say to that? I didn't even understand what I was. You don't know what you're saying to these people. Little girl comes in, her father was a football coach that died. I had to hand her a picture of her dad. Yo, dude, I walked outside and cried twice. And by the way, the building where it happened was that door. It was 20 feet from us. And there was cops everywhere. You couldn't go, you couldn't move places. There was comfort dogs, And that's when the levity of what I was doing. And I'll do anything for kids. I do it all the time. I'll go volunteer at PATH, which is a great organization for youth. And I went to juvenile detention centers in Miami and just talk to juvenile kids and try not to lead them on the path that I was going down when I was their age. But that shit, man, that was really hard. That was a really hard one.
I commend you for that, though.
No, I don't want the commitment.
No, you don't want it, but
no, I don't care about that.
Either way, bro. Hey, let me tell you, that's.
You'd be doing a fun music video to capturing.
Boats and hoes and shit. Yeah, it was cool.
You go from one thing to from shooting. From shooting so many videos, man, and be put in that situation. That's rough.
Yeah, it was hard. That was the hardest thing I ever had to film, and I literally just had to put the camera there. But the hard thing is when I direct, I really direct. So I don't go into a video oh, cool, just stand over there and like hold the bottle. Like, no, I'm like trying to put you in a world where you can visualize yourself in this certain place, and I'm really trying to take you there. Because the kind of videos I grew up on took me somewhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like the video game now has been so watered down that some of these videos just they fall flat because these guys just don't know what they're doing, and that's where you divide the big boys from the little boys. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you know, growing up like watching and studying like people like Gil and. You know,
shout out to Gil Green.
No, that's my dude. Yeah, Gil's my man. So it's like, you know, watching people like Gil or like driving Alan Hughes around. You know, Alan Hughes directed Menace to Society and, you know, Dead Presidents. You know, I drove him for 8 days, you know. I've PA'd for David Gordon Green. I've done it for Harmony Korine. Like, watching all, like, I was that dude that was really behind them. Just like watching the monitor, watching the shot composition, watching everything, listening to how they spoke. One thing I always advise everybody was like, people don't like being drivers. Like, yo, if you could drive that director, anything that you need to know is happening in the car. By the time he steps on set, that shit's already figured out. Yeah, it's figured out. Like, they're just executing at that point. But the way they're figuring it out, all the logistical shit, like, it's on the way. Yeah, so you gotta listen to these combos. So I'm just flying on the wall, like, until somebody tells me to leave, I ain't moving, you know? But, and I did it for Mark. The second time I AD'd, I was the second AD for Mark Romanek. He's the greatest music video director to ever do it. He did 99 Problems, Michael Jackson Scream, Madonna Bedtime Stories, Johnny Cash Hurt. Best video ever made, Johnny Cash Hurt. Yeah. You know, so, like when they said, oh, you're going to AD today for who? Mark Romanek? I was like, oh, you'd have heard a pin drop because I'm trying to be cool and shit, right? So I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But I was like staring over Mark's shoulder. I mean, Mark doesn't even know I exist, I guarantee it. But I was just like, you know, I was like, pardon the little Chico guy here, just looking over your shoulder, dude. But
watching everything you're doing.
Yeah, it was great, man.
You've had the chance to work with so many greats, but is there somebody in specific that is like your dream project that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Yeah, and they're releasing a single tomorrow. It's Guns N' Roses.
Nice.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm gonna get it.
You never know, man. You never know.
Dream. I mean, look, I just did a video with Nori and Fat Joe that was like fucking awesome. You know, and I've known Nori and Joe for a while, but it was just awesome. You know, watching Joe and Nori and just being in that environment. Fetty Wap was really cool. I'm trying to think.
I mean, I really like the Cat Dahlia.
Oh, Cat Dahlia. I just did another video for Cat Dahlia recently.
Yeah.
I've done 4 for her. You know how I met Cat? You want to talk about hustle? So they have these things called Latin Grammy street parties. And Cat was performing. My man Chris Thomas, who was the president of Eventus at the time, who was the company that put the Latin Grammy street parties on. All right. So I was, yo, I need BTS at this concert, and I was not directing yet. Me and E had just bought a red camera. Probably the biggest mistake we ever bought, but whatever, we bought the camera. I mean, it's an expensive camera, and it's my fault. I talked him into it. I feel bad, but...
I feel bad.
No, I do. I mean, it was an expensive camera. But, sorry, E. But yeah, so I was doing behind the scenes, and Cat Dahlia Gangster was, like, everywhere. Like, you've heard the song Gangster, right, by Cat Dahlia? That's a big record.
You've heard it.
Yeah, you've heard it. I'm not going to... You say you were a gangster, but you ever... Yeah, you know something? Yeah, don't make me sing it. Thank you. So,
I mean,
so I see Kat backstage, and she's doing the red carpet thing, you know, taking the pictures, and I had to film, you know, her doing the photos. So I just bum rush her. I don't say hello. I don't introduce myself. I just walked right up to her like a G and was like, yo, I want to do a video for you. And she was like, excuse me? And I was like, yeah, I don't care. I'll do it for free. I don't give a shit. I just want to do this video for you. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, straight up. Like, I own a red. And that's what got her, though, that I owned the red. So she's like, oh, you own a red? I was like, yeah. She goes, hold on, let me introduce you to my manager. So she introduced me to my man, Andres, who was her manager, who I just did 3 videos for. But she introduced me to Andres. And Andres was like, cool, man, let's do a video, next week. She's going to London. And when she comes back from London, we'll do the video. And they called me next week, and we did the video. Then we did another video, and I've done 4 for her now. And we developed a professional friendship.
I mean, with the videos that you've put together, you seem to have a theme at times that you put out tremendo message.
Try to, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I just wrote one today that's fucking crazy.
Which video of hers was it that it was really powerful? It was about...
with the snakes and everything?
With the fighting.
Oh, yeah, that was The High.
Yes.
Yeah, that was about the violent relationship. Basically, it's basically it was symbolic of a toxic relationship, and they kind of both turned into vampires, which was really weird how to make their teeth grow, but they learned how to do it. But it's just basically her and a guy kind of rolling around tussling, and it's like half sexual but half violent because everybody's been in that violent kind of like, destructive, dysfunctional relationship there. It's like, you shouldn't be with this person, but you just can't stop.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was symbolic of. And I believe it did pretty well. It did about 5 million views, something like that. Yeah.
This is a dope video.
Are you always creating, or are you just...
Always.
Yeah?
For the most part. I mean, it's a gift and a curse. Now it's a little easier because now I have so many ideas that maybe somebody didn't bite on that I can recycle if I'm having a brain dead day. And my job is to listen to music. I mean, I know records that are coming out now that are going to blow people's minds, because I'm involved in the conversation of possibly doing some of these videos. But, everybody wants everything now. So when the labels come at you and be like, yo, we want to do this video for whatever, insert artist here, we need the treatment tomorrow. And you're already doing true treatments that day. So now you got to formulate 2 ideas. It takes me like 6 hours just to write a treatment, let alone think of the idea.
So you definitely have to be creative
you're already,
all the time.
I'm creating all the time. That's why when I came out, I was like, yo, I'm not rapping today. I'm just dead. I wrote 2 treatments today, so it was like, and I'm writing 3 more this week, and I have to fly to Orlando tomorrow for a meeting for somebody who might want 15 videos. So
how do you do it? What's a typical day like for you as a director? Because I know you also do photography and you do a whole bunch of other stuff. So how do you balance it, especially
photography for me is a let loose. Like I was telling him, I took him on a photo walk with me.
Listen, that was fun.
You take some amazing pictures.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. For me, it's like, it's the one time I get to hold the camera and I don't have a client who's paying me like $25,000 to $100,000 telling me what to do with it.
Right,
so I can just shoot whatever the fuck I want. So I just go out and have fun. And for me also, it's very, it helps me create. So people don't understand, like I'll go out and I'm shooting photos and I'm walking by a location that maybe somebody didn't think of, or somebody didn't see, or, okay, cool, I see new fashion. I'm 40. Like, I'm not really running around with 20-year-old kids anymore. Like knowing what's on the precipice of what people are wearing, So for me going out, seeing what kids are wearing, how they're interacting, how they're dancing, what's moving them, what kind of music's actually really working. It's really fun, but it's also informative because it keeps me young,
It's like people watching it as best.
I'm sorry if I'm rude by putting my legs up. I'm just tired.
No, what's in there?
Cool. Nah, I don't want to be like that dick. Like, what's up?
Put him in front of this camera. Put him in front of
yeah, sort of right. And then whatever spare time I have, I just devote to my daughter and my wife, who've been super supportive of my career. I mean, it's not hard being with me. Like yesterday, I didn't know I was going to be in Orlando tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, that shit doesn't, like, shit like that happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, she knows. Like, like, I've had situations where it's like, hey, can you be on a flight to L.A., like, at 9 o'clock in the morning? And my wife's like, all right, bye. Like, she knows
what's up, and she's...
Yeah, but at the same token, like, I don't play. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I go out and I tell her, yo, it's like, I'm going to be out late. It's cool, I'm going to be out late. But, like, I'm not trying to be out, like, 7 in the morning late either. I'm trying to be respectful of my relationship. And I'm trying to also show my daughter, who's a wonderful 10-year-old who I love to... She's like my baby. Like,
we've seen her grow up through your feet.
Yeah. That's my best friend. I love my kid. She saved my life, man. My daughter saved my life in a lot of ways. But
shout out to Oxygen one more time, by the way.
Yeah. Where babies were made. But my wife and the mother of my child, who's best friends with my wife. Like I have a great baby mom. Like I don't let people call her it was a baby mama. Like she's the mother of my child. She's my friend, and I respect her as such because she's a good woman. It just we didn't work out. Yeah. But my wife has made a great relationship with her. My daughter has 2 mothers, but my daughter has these big aspirations and goals. And I'm always telling her, follow your dreams. What kind of lie am I going to sell her if I'm not going to do it myself, right?
This is true.
So I got to, and for her being a little woman, she's like, now she's 10, she's like a little woman, so it's even harder for her. Like, yo, I'm in a male-dominated industry, so I can just run up in this shit right now and be like, yo, I run shit. I'm a guy. Cool. Yeah, for females, it's like, yo, you got, some douchebag executives trying to fuck you, and then there's other.
Is she taking after you though? Is she going to your artistic?
She just signed up for TV. She just signed up for TV class.
Oh boy.
Yeah, on her own. She came on, she's like, Daddy, I got into the TV class and we're doing the news next year. I'm like, oh, that's dope. Like, she knows.
Did you take her with you?
I took her with me to meet Austin Mahone when I was directing Austin Mahone.
Okay.
And Austin Mahone's a big, like, pop star. If you don't know, he's huge.
I have no idea who he is.
Yeah, well, he's pretty big, especially for young kids. She was a big fan. So that was like super ill. I brought her by, and she was like, and I co-directed him with Gil, and then I directed the intro to his tour. So they have like the videos that come out before you come. So I did that all for him, and I brought him by the set. My daughter was shell shocked. She was like, "Yo, this is great."
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, "Well, this is nuts." And then the second time I directed him, I FaceTimed her, but Austin was on the phone. So like, she picked up, was like Austin. She's like, "Oh shit!" I did shit like that too with my wife. Though. I do it to my wife all the time too. Like I directed Little Dicky. And,
man, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was great. Little Dicky's super smart. He makes you feel really stupid. But he's incredible to work with. But when I directed Little Dicky, my wife's a big Little Dicky fan. So I had Little Dicky FaceTime her. And I was like, yo, and I told Little Dicky, like, yo, hit on my wife. And he was like, well, I was like, just hit on my wife. It's cool. So he got so I was like, I'm about to Little Dicky's on the phone. She's at work. He's like, yo, what's up, boo? What's going on? It's
Awesome.
Yeah. I've had Trina FaceTime my wife. We have a very good professional relationship, me and Trina.
Have you ever been like starstruck? Ever like an awkward moment?
I'm trying to think. Starstruck. Not really, man. I've been around a lot of really, really big guys. I mean, the people I've been starstruck around were not people I was working with. Damn, I'm trying to think, man. Like, nah, man, not really. I think maybe like, shit. I think when I met Nas, I was like bugging.
I would have bugged out.
You know what I'm saying? But the people who starstruck me aren't even like that relevant anymore. So it's like I think if I met Axl Rose, I would faint. Or like Beth Gibbons from Portishead, I'd be like, holy shit.
Don't laugh at me, but if you ever meet Mariah, please FaceTime me.
Yeah, I'll hit you up, no doubt. Trying to think of who, man. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. I've done a lot of videos. I'm trying to draw a blank, but
I mean, she's just trying to figure out how to get to the Mariah.
The Mariah.
I mean, all right. So if you haven't been starstruck.
Well, you can't be.
Oh no, for sure.
I mean, they smell that shit on you.
I mean, you don't have to like
How about
show
this?
it, but inside, like one of those.
Who's the most impressive artist that you've met?
Little Dicky.
How so?
His educational knowledge is insane.
He was a copywriter.
Huh?
He was a copywriter.
Yeah, and he worked for. He's insanely smart. I get turned on by intelligence a lot. Like I don't think rappers necessarily have to be stupid.
Absolutely.
And his way of showing you his intelligence is incredible. Like he literally walked up on set. He was wearing a Dare to Say No to Drugs shirt, and the label told him to take it off, and he was like, "Why?" And then he looked at me and said, I asked him if he was hungry because I was going to have an assistant like go get him food because he rolled in an Uber, like a small and he literally said, "No, I just ate a Asiago specialty sandwich from Wendy's, with all the special bread." He was like, "Yeah, but it's just the same fucking bread. It just has a couple seeds in it. I don't know why they charge me so much money for the bread." And then he went on this whole tangent. It was like, oh shit, yeah. Oh man, he broke down life. He was like, yo, how in life I think life is about possibly a video game because how back when we were in the 80s we were playing Pong and it was like boop 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 boop. I was like, yeah. He was like, and now you play Call of Duty and everything looks super real, right? He was like, yeah, cool. So what's video games gonna look like in 100 years? Because then at that point, what if it's just a big time capsule and they can come back and control you? What if we're just controlling ourselves in a video game? I was like, fuck, bro. I would have been, holy shit.
He got out of the Uber, blew my mind, and we have to shoot a video.
And that video was him, Kent Jones, and and E40. So E40 was another one. I was like, wow, I'm directing E40. I mean, look, man. At the end of the day, I'm just happy to be here, dude. I am, man. It's cool, man. I'm extremely grateful of. I don't have a lot of time on my hands. That's why you really don't see me around that much anymore. Every moment I have is precious. But I'm extremely grateful. I mean, dude, me and E started this when I was 18 years old with just a dream and meeting in Kinko's.
Wow.
And you look at E now, and he's got the biggest podcast in the country with Drink Champs.
Absolutely.
And then, I'm sorry, I just crossed the line.
Shout out to the whole
No, yeah.
We were always talking about
All right, so he's got the biggest podcast in the country with Nori, and he's a celebrity in his own right. And then you look at me, and it's like I went from picking up garbage for directors, and one day to another, just changing my whole life, and then to being a successful director, that can travel and do what he wants to do. And you know, me and E have done documentary. I stood on the top of Machu Picchu.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know what I'm saying? Because I knew how to hold a camera. Now, yeah, you can fly to Machu Picchu. You can pay, but like knowing how to hold a camera got me to Machu. Yeah, my talent got me there. Yeah. You know, like
talent and ethics.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, the work ethic is crazy. Here's the thing, the work ethic is crazy. Like, now I have editors, thank God. You know, my budgets are better. I hire people to edit. Like, I need to outsource things at this point. Like, it's just I can't. I don't physically have the time. But last Christmas, like, Noche Buena, while everybody was eating, I was editing.
Great.
Yeah, I was editing. And then my daughter opened her presents, and then I went back to editing. Oh. Like, people think this shit is a bullshit game. Like, nah, dude. Like, not to the level that I want to take it. Mm-hmm. Like, I really want to take it there. And my work ethic is like, yeah, I may not be the most talented director in the world. I may not be the most, whatever you want to say, but I guarantee you, if you stick me on the work treadmill, I'm going to outrun you all day long, dog. Like, you better fucking have your cardio game ready, because I'm going to take you to the house when it comes to work.
Absolutely. And with that being said, Garcia, we definitely are grateful to have you here in the studio, being that your time is limited. And I mean, we've definitely, I mean, you guys are older, obviously, but
whatever. What in the world did you just say, woman?
As we've been growing up through the grind and everything, and seeing, you know, where you guys started to where you guys are now, it's truly an inspiration, especially for people who are in the industries as well. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm not sure if you have any shout outs you want to give before we go.
Shout outs, and where could they find you?
Yeah, my website is garciasvision.com. Garcia with an S, vision.com at the end. So it's GARCIAS vision.com.
Garcia's
vision.com. My Instagram and Twitter is Garcia's World. The only reason my website isn't Garcia's World is because some jackass out there has it, and I can't look. Yeah, he wanted like $1,000 for it. I was like, no, it's not that serious. No, I mean, I want to shout out, first and foremost, Crazyhood Productions.
We got gigs on the IG Live, so shout out to
What up, Eddie? That's my guy. No, shout out the whole Crazyhood, E13, Drink Champs. Most importantly, shout out my wife, my daughter, who hopefully is listening. I don't know what the hell my daughter's crazy. So hopefully she's listening.
One way or another.
Yeah, my mother. And, you know, anybody who supports what I'm trying to do, if you don't and you want to use me as competition, great. I don't really see competition. I just want to see more people in the city be creative and actually do something for themselves. You know, if I was able to do this at 40 years old, you know, there's no reason a 25-year-old kid with no kid and no wife and no real responsibility can't. So don't let nobody tell you not to follow your dreams. But if you're going to follow your dreams, you got to work. Like, the dreams don't just materialize. You know, all that shit of like, oh, mantra or speaking into existence, all that shit. Yeah, that's cool. Keep talking. Keep talking to yourself, bro.
But if you ain't moving.
But if you ain't working towards it, you know, it's cool, man. And, you know, I hope everybody out there makes it. Honestly, I really, really do. I hope everybody makes it, and I hope everybody at least sees me, and if I make mistakes or maybe they can learn from them. You know, Lord, I try to learn from every mistake I make. I'm not perfect.
That's
so,
right.
You know, and that's it, man. I'm about positivity, man. I'm about peace, you know.
And hard work.
Yeah.
Putting in that work. That is what's up.
You know what's weird? Like, when I'm not working, I freak out. Like, I really don't know what to do with a day off. Ask my wife. It's weird.
You know how to relax?
No, I don't know how to not work. It's bugged out. Like, I freak the fuck out. Like,
that's a good problem.
I can have, you know, enough money to cover me for the whole month or 2 months in my bank account right now and be bugging. Because it's not about the money, and if I'm not being creative, I feel like I'm dying. I feel sick. I get depressed. It's like endorphins release in my brain when I'm like writing and working and I'm on set. It's like a high.
Yeah.
So when I'm not there, I'm always chasing that dragon. I'm trying to get back there. Real talk.
Man, but thanks for coming out, Garcia.
No, man, it's my pleasure. This is dope.
Man,
welcome anytime.
This is like the 1,000,000th time I've interviewed this guy since I started doing publication interviews and shit.
No, I was like, George, you again? He's going to be like, no.
Listen, it happens.
No, he told me on the photo walk a couple weeks ago, and he was like, yo, do you want to come by? And I completely forgot, honestly, real talk. But you got lucky as shit. I was going to fly to Orlando today, and I couldn't do it. So he texted me this morning. He's like, yo, do you want to come by tonight? I was like, yeah, sure.
Word.
And then he got lucky again because I was in the gym, and through all the phone meetings and conference calls, I had forgot again. So at 5, when he was like, "Yo, you still coming?" I was like, "Oh shit, yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there."
Because I figured your homie's gonna be busy.
Yeah, I cut my workout short. I was like, "Let me go."
Well, I'm glad you made it, and you're welcome anytime. Much love and blessings to you. Lots of luck, and hopefully we'll see you again here soon.
You know what it is. 305.
Hell yeah.
Dale con dale. All right, y'all. Peace.